a story to tell.
I do have a story to tell.
Okay, let's go ahead and start out.
I would say it probably starts in my case when I was 14 years old. I got hit by a truck, and from that point on, started suffering chronic headaches. And then continue to when fast forward till when I'm 21 years old, and someone hands me a joint during one of my headaches.
Before that, though, let me ask, did the medicines work for you?
No, nothing worked.
And you had side effect problems and things like that?
Absolutely. I mean, I'm 15 years old, going to high school. They're giving me Demerol. They're giving me Vicodin.
You barely walk sometimes.
Certainly can't do homework, suffice it to say, try to get into college.
I just want to bring that out because I've heard this story time and time again on that.
And my brother has Tourette's syndrome, and I can go down the list. But so at 21, a friend first handed me a joint during one of my headaches saying, hey, you're having a headache, try this. And I was very against it. You know, I was raised to be very against marijuana. But indeed, my headache ceased. And I kept smoking, and I haven't had a headache, you know, unless I run out. I don't really have headaches. But better believe if I do run out, there's about 48 hours before I get a headache. And
you're lucky it's just headaches. I know people that have grand mal seizures.
Oh, yeah.
And the only thing that stops them is medical marijuana.
And we'll get into some of the science behind it that we find fascinating with my company and my product. So I moved to Colorado, found the opportunity to become a medical marijuana patient, became a patient, and in the process realized that a lot of this research was being done, a lot of good data was being generated. There's, THC is the most popular constituent of marijuana.
And that's tetrahydrocannabinol, but it really refers to a whole class of substances.
Precisely.
That are found in there.
So there are 65 cannabinoids, as I'm sure you know. THC is less than 2% of the total pie chart. And each of them has, they can stimulate bone growth. You're talking about appetite stimulation, appetite suppression. It turns out the endocannabinoid system, the receptors in your body, tend to modulate just about all the large background functions. And cannabis can augment this where you have deficiencies. So, that said, you see a lot of recreational products being developed. You have, for example, the vaporizer. A great thing, but no one really thought that the vaporizer only vaporizes THC. Sure, it'll get you high.
The lighter volatiles, there's a lot of the heavier ones that are left behind.
Correct. And sure, THC will, certainly if you're in pain, it'll take your attention off the pain. You'll be distracted, so to speak. But the CBD is what's actually going to go in and relieve the pain, and that you need combustion for.
And these are when those of us that have been around a long time, things you referred to like the Mexican pot that would put you to sleep,
right.
Knock you right out.
And that's
higher
the
in those cannabinoids that are more physical and stop the pain. And of course, those that did it didn't do it for pain back then,
right?
But they got the effect from that, as opposed to some other things that would get you very high, very spiritual on things,
and cerebral,
right?
Is generally, and that works for anxiety very well, things like that. So one thing is we decided that it was time for someone to take the medical aspect of it and delivering the medicine to the patient seriously. So we came up with our product here, which is the Incredibowl. And
Incredibowl.
B-O-W-L. And we're going to go ahead and pull the product out. It's a combustion pipe.
And what's the major advantage of this?
Two major advantages to this, really. First of all, you're combusting, so you're getting every cannabinoid. Mm-hmm. So you can really say, well, like I need that Mexican, which later, is grown into the indica subgenus. So the cannabis indica is going to give you more of that pain relief. So you can go and buy your indica and put it in this, and it'll be great. Whereas if you put it in a vaporizer, you won't get your pain relief. But if you go and buy a sativa, you'll again have more of that cerebral.
Right.
So that's for the patients in that regard. One thing is I'm severely asthmatic.
Right.
And that was my biggest hurdle when I started. It helped my headache.
Putting particulate matter into your lungs.
And I'm coughing things up. My head feels great, but my lungs feel terrible. One of the things we do here is the smoke is cooled, and more importantly, this chamber becomes depressurized as the user's drawing on it. So that when this is pulled, this acts as the carburetor. And the atmospheric pressure instantaneously equalizes, moving the smoke into the lungs without requiring the lungs to strain. And so you have this cooled smoke moving into the lungs, and as it turns out, after 3 months, we invented this we did our launch on 4/20 of this year at CU NORML, big event. And then by July, I went to a doctor, and the doctor told me that I did not have any lower respiratory congestion anymore. So I am still asthmatic, but my symptoms are gone. Because cannabis for years has been touted as helping asthma, but there's no real way to deliver it.